Hi guys, this is a beautiful sunset in Burnham Park in Baguio. Wow, well I guess it's time for another Percy's Fast Food Toy Story.
Amazing! Gracious!
Another Percy's Fast Food Toy Story.
Yay!
Thank you very much for visiting Percy's Fast Food Toy Story. Again, I appreciate that and please don't forget to subscribe and also like. Okay, so today we have another surprise from McDonald's Happy Meal. Yes. Okay, so yeah, I was telling you about the Burnham Park a while ago and it was a wonderful experience. I'm just glad there are no crocodiles there. Not unlike the Happy Meal that we have today. Okay, so the Happy Meal that we have today was released this year. Yeah, it is a book featuring Steve Irwin and it has also a QR code there. You can scan and then get to know more about the adventures of Steve Irwin, the fun-loving, nature-loving guy. Yeah. Okay, let's open it up and get to know more of Steve Irwin. You know, this is the guy that was, yeah, there was a little story about him, how he died while he was swimming with a stingray. He was accidentally stung by a stingray, and I think that's the cause of death. Nevertheless, the whole of his life has been dedicated to actually promoting wildlife conservation and even crocodiles, which are more often than not feared as one of the most dreaded creatures, are some of the creatures that he is actually very affectionate with. I mean, he really went out of his way to actually save these wildlives. Okay, and just like the rest of other beings here on Earth, we are on the same footing, as he says. We're all just borrowing. Yeah, we're just living in this world, just like that. Okay, so here's a book, Little People, Big Dreams. I Can Be a Wildlife Explorer. And Steve Irwin is actually being explored here as the most prominent wildlife explorer. So, Little People, Big Dreams. I Can Be a Wildlife Explorer. Discover the lives of outstanding people, from designers, artists, scientists. All of them achieved incredible things, yet each began a life as a child with a dream. Steve rescued the first crocodile aged 9. As an adult, he became a professional crocodile rescuer and made television shows that inspired people all over the world to love animals and respect the planet. Wow. That is a wonderful summary of how Steve Irwin lived his life. So there it is, you can basically put your name here. This book belongs to Percival, of course. So you're about to meet one of the world's greatest wildlife explorers. Steve had hopes, fears, joys, and challenges, and his own unique dreams. His story shown that if you follow your own dream and believe in yourself, you can do everything. So, yeah. Okay. So look at the pictures there. Yes. So little Steve was a boy from Australia who loved animals. When he was 8, his family started a wildlife park to protect crocodiles, kangaroos, and other creatures. These are awesome illustrations of Steve Irwin and his family. Okay, that's Steve Irwin and his dad. Sometimes Steve went on trips with his father to rescue crocodiles that were threatened by hunters. He was 9 when he tried to catch his first crocodile by jumping on its back. Whoa! That's mighty brave of Steve Irwin. And then, okay, as he grew up, Steve began catching crocodiles on his own and moving them to safe places away from humans. He became Australia's top crocodile rescuer. Okay, look at that. So one day, at a wildlife park, Steve noticed someone in the crowd. It was love at first sight. Her name was Terry, and they married the following year. Okay, so that's probably Terry. Okay. They spent their honeymoon filming crocodile rescues. The documentary was turned into a television series which became a hit all over the world. What a way to spend your honeymoon. So there they are, rescuing crocodiles. Steve knew the best way to protect wild animals was by getting people to love them. His shows taught everyone how exciting wildlife is. Okay. So there it is. It's a growing family. His fame followed him, allowed him to turn the wildlife park into one of the best zoos in the world. And while the zoo grew bigger, so did his whole family. Okay. But around the planet, the places where wild animals lived were being harmed. So Steve and Terry brought land to turn them into wildlife reservations. They also founded the charity to protect endangered species like elephants, tigers, chimpanzees, and rhinoceros. Okay. And today, little Steve's memory keeps encouraging us to love and protect wildlife because we don't own this planet, we belong to it, just like every living being. And that's it. So here's a glossary here for some words that might not be familiar with you. So honeymoon is a holiday taken by two people who have just got married. Documentary is a film that shows real facts and events. Wildlife reservations are areas of land that protect the animals and plants living there. Endangered species of animals or plants that is at risk of becoming extinct into no longer existing. Okay, here's a game. There's also a game here. So the giraffes are all tied up in knots. Can you work out which head belongs to whom? Okay, and then here's another game. Can you match the animals to their prints? Okay, so that's probably a crocodile, that's a tiger, that is a turtle, yeah, that's a snake, and that one is a giraffe, and that's a zebra. I think I got them right. Okay, now complete the cute koala, yeah, by using the grids there and then coloring it. I think it would be easy enough because of the grid. And here is a maze. So we'll walk through Steve and Terry's wildlife park to the kangaroos. So our goal there is to go to the kangaroos. So there are a lot of paths here that we have to navigate, and then of course the eventual target is to be with the kangaroos in Australia. And then only two koalas are an exact match. Can you find them? Okay, so we're going to look at the matching koalas, and then how many of each reptile can you find? Like, for example, how many crocodiles are there? How many turtles? How many snakes? And how many, what's that? Is that an iguana? Okay, so that's a lot of fun. And then can you find all 7 hidden crocodiles? So there are 7 crocodiles that are hiding here. So apparently Steve is really very fond of crocodiles. Even until now, people are still associating him with crocodiles, one of the most feared animals. And then draw yourself as a wildlife explorer here, and then you can put your name there. And then when I'm older, I want to be, well, it doesn't necessarily have to be a wildlife explorer. And then my favorite animals are, and then I am brave because, okay, so if you're having trouble answering the games, here are some cheat codes. Okay, so answers to some of those games that were in the earlier pages. Okay, that's neat. And then here we have a crocodile toy. So there are some perforations here, and we have to actually detach it in order for us to build our very own crocodile, just like Steve Irwin. It's not necessarily a real crocodile, but it's the closest thing to having your own crocodile, just to emulate the passion and the love of Steve Irwin to wildlife and to this planet. Okay, let's try it on. We're going to remove it, and there are some perforations there which would make it easier for us to actually detach this particular page. Okay. I'm trying as carefully as possible so as not to rip this book, because this is indeed a wonderful Happy Meal Happy Meal toy, a book about Steve Irwin. And there it is. So let's try it on. So there are several parts of the crocodiles here, and there are instructions on one side, and then I think we have to remove all the different parts in order for us to build this crocodile. Okay, one, I think those are the feet, and these are the the tantalizing eyes of the crocodiles. And then we'll be removing the body of the croc. Okay. Yeah. You know, I've got to hand it to McDonald's, especially when they come up with toys just like this. The perforations are exquisite. I mean, it's a very user-friendly. It is very easy for us to actually detach these parts, because sometimes I've had several of these kinds of toys and they're actually a little bit difficult to detach because of limited perforations that were actually given to the toy. But in this case, it's almost very fluid, very easy, and as a matter of fact, it is very enjoyable. Just this task of detaching the crocodile from this cardboard. Okay, just a couple more of the perforations, and we'll be able to completely detach this crocodile, or our very own crocodile. Okay, so there it goes. And then I have to look at the instructions first. So I think we have to basically put these two sides together, and then yeah, I'm trying to read the instructions. Okay, I think this will be the feet of the crocodile, and this will be the eyes. So we'll put the eyes first. And I do believe we have to remove this particular cardboard part, which is in the middle of the eye, so that we can actually insert it onto the body of the crocodile. And then once we're able to remove that center portion of this eye, of the eyes, and then the cardboard that is in between the eyes, we simply insert it on our crocodile there. Okay. I'm trying my very best to be as efficient and as careful. I don't want to actually make some creases or some folds in this crocodile. Yeah, true enough, these cardboard toys are really very delicate, so we have to be very, very careful, especially when it comes to assembling them. Okay, so now we're putting the front feet of the croc. Okay, and then where's the other one? I'm trying to look for the other one. Okay, so that is the hind legs. So the back of the crocodile, the legs at the back of the crocodiles, and there it is. As simple as that. We now have our very own crocodile, our first crocodile, just like in the book of Steve Irwin. So there it is. What a wonderful Happy Meal toy, and I'm hoping to get some more of these books, these Happy Meal books, and they're really nice. So they're a series of little people with big dreams, and here is an iconic personality, Steve Irwin. We got to know him as a kid and how he grew up to be the most renowned wildlife explorer. So that's it. Thank you guys for tuning in, and bye!